Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video of course with Turles EZA, and yesterday we got to test them out and the first event we're taking him in is in ESBR, but let me know how you finding him down in the comments. He's generally to me one of the best EZAs in the game, like easily top 5, to me anyway, easily top 5. Do let me know how you're finding him down in the comments, and don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you are new. We are in Movie Bosses ESBR. Now typically, and I did say this in his showcase, typically when it comes to Turles, even though obviously now he is a hell of a lot better than what he was, let me actually pop in Icarus. I won't do a Wii, so I'll pop in Icarus just because Frieza is also here. And Turles isn't taking too many attacks. But one thing I will say is that typically with Turles, you're going to be running him as a floater. Even though obviously now he's a lot better and he is capable of being run on main rotation, I'm definitely not disputing that. He can be run on main rotation. The only thing that hurts him, and I definitely said this, was his link set. As a set, it's not the best in terms of linking up with other units. As individual links, they are very good because in terms of what he's getting a lot of attack from his link set. As an actual set, I mean, you see there 3.3 mil. 3.3 mil. In the showcase, Turles was putting out like 5 million easily. Now we're down to 3.3 mil. As I said, as a set, generally it's not the best, but individual links, they are very, very good attack links. So typically you will run him as a floater, mainly because you want to kind of spread his support between both rotations. Also, second, again, you don't really have a linking partner who can handle being on main rotation with him at all times, considering, you know, his best linking partner is the AGL Turles, who's terrible, the other one. The LR Turles squad isn't bad, but ideally in an ESBR environment specifically, neither of them can handle slot 1, and just naturally, you're not going to run that as a rotation. And again, especially because you want to kind of spread, as I said, Turles' support out everywhere. So the rotation I'm going to run is with this transforming cooler. They don't link too badly. They do share Thirst for Conquest, Brutal Beatdown, and Fierce Battle, which are some solid links. Solid attack links. So he will be performing a little bit better, just not just yet. We do have the Icarus still active, although Cooler's defense, which is why I mean, to be fair, I don't mind if Cooler actually doesn't get easy aid during the worldwide celebration, of course, but the fact this is a possibility does really make me excited. Like, the fact that the transforming strength cooler can potentially be easy aid during worldwide really does make me excited. As I said, it might not happen. Like, there are some other units that really do need to be easy aid before him. You know, you're looking at LR Strength, Full Power Freezer, AGL Meta Cooler. Yes, it's a different movie, but it's still a cooler unit. Like, look at this. With an Icarus active, I know it's not the biggest damage reduction. With an Icarus active, he's still taking 90k on basics. He's not even transformed yet. He would take a little bit less once he's transformed. But defensively, he just doesn't quite cut it anymore. He's still a very good unit. And of course, he's amazing against, you know, the likes of pure Saiyan units. But defensively, he just isn't quite the best. And you even saw that there with an Icarus active with the LR Turles squad unit. 60k on a basic. As I said, ideally and realistically, you're not going to be running EZA Turles on rotation with LR Turles squad, just because, you know, the LR Turles squad is not bad defensively, but you want someone a bit safer. You want someone a bit safer there. Right now, this Frieza lost his damage reduction, so I will put Broly in slot 1, just because, to be fair, Piccolo's actually stunned, so that actually works out well for us. And Broly's got 245k defense with the AR active. Turles actually has pretty much the same defense, with an extra 3k. That's pretty good. Don't forget, he's supporting everyone as well, so Broly does have a little bit extra with him. On top of the fact we have an ATAR, Broly does also have the extra attack and defense as well from Turles, because we are facing a superclass enemy. We're facing 3 of them, so Broly is getting Ki +3 and attack +40% and all allies defense +40% as well. So is Frieza, but that doesn't really matter. He's not here to deal damage. But don't forget, everyone else is still being supported as well, which is, of course, what makes Turles so good. Is not only does he have good numbers offensively, which we're not really seeing right now, and decent numbers defensively, especially once he supers, he does raise attack and defense by 30%. And don't forget, one of the very few events we can actually take advantage of this, he does have a medium chance to stun, which of course is very handy in ESBR as well. You just have to hope that 30% chance comes off. But on top of having decent numbers, of course, he's still supporting everyone, which is why he's so good. Which is why as a slot 3 unit, you probably don't get better than Turles. Because, you know, back in the day with Dokkan, when it came to support units, they're always going in slot 3. But in general, they could very well easily get you killed and were a big risk to bring if you were to bring them to help another unit out. Or just in general, just go down the support route. But, you know, now Turles has his EZA, and again, the amount of good categories he can go on, movie bosses, pure Saiyans, terrifying conquerors. Again, you probably won't run them in final trump card just because a lot of them are fusion units, like, that's where most of the synergy comes from. You could run them there if you want him to. I mean, the support would definitely, you know, help. Space Traveling Warriors and Planetary Destruction. Even though he goes on, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 categories, he can work well on 5 of them. Low Class Warriors is just not a good category anyway, and Final Trump Card, as I said, you're probably just not going to take him on. But the rest of them, and again, especially with the Pure Saiyans, Space Traveling Warriors, 200% lead, it's not great. Raditz isn't good. You're probably not going to run it. But he's a big help to that category, especially with the support. I mean, it kind of helps Raditz. It kind of helps Raditz a little bit, not a lot, but I mean, maybe we'll leave that one. But Ginyu's 200% leader, Space Traveling Warriors, Terrifying Conquerors. I mean, a lot of the time, he's going to go in slot 3 incredibly well on these teams, because not only is he going to be supporting everyone, but he's the... I mean, okay, no, I'm definitely not putting you there. I'm just going to Usher. I'm going to Usher this turn. He's going to work really well. He's an amazing slot 3 unit, because not only is he going to support everyone, you know, you're going to be able to spread the support across both rotations, but he's going to be putting out some very good numbers. Like, he's not there just to purely support. He's not just going to chip away at the enemy's health. He's actually going to do some pretty good numbers, and defensively, he's going to be solid for the remainder of the turn. He may still take a little bit of damage, but he's not going to get you killed. Like, he's not a support unit that is just an absolute risk to bring, but you're bringing him just for the support. He's a very good, well-rounded unit now after EZA. And he makes such a good slot 3 unit. But of course, because of the purpose of the video, I need to be putting him on main rotation to really show you what he can do. So right now, we have pretty much all of his links active, and we've got the support from the LR Turles squad. So he's going to be performing a little bit better here than he was before. A little bit better. And we'll super Jeets with you just because we do have type advantage. But he can work really well on a lot of these teams. It's just, unfortunately, a lot of them, you won't be getting off, like, 5 mil attack stats just because of who he's going to be linking with. And as I said, as a set, it isn't a good set. There's individual links, they're great. And I mean, any unit, or any team, sorry, you're going to be bringing them on that has a big bad bosses unit and you have that active, at least you'll be having that attack and defense plus 25% a lot of the time as well, which is why I will eventually get cooldown rotation. See, look at that damage. Look at that damage. As I said, unfortunately, you won't be putting out that type of damage with him on other categories, just because you won't be able to get a lot of these links off, like Destroyer of the Universe. Thirst for Conquest, you can, but again, Cooler's defense nowadays just isn't kind of, I mean, it actually isn't kind of, it isn't good enough. Like, let's just be honest. That's why I really do hope he does get an EZA during Worldwide. Like, it may be unlikely because of, again, the amount of other units that need it a lot more than he does, but I mean, whenever has that stopped Dokkan, you know? Whenever has that stopped Dokkan? Like, I really do hope he gets one, because honestly, he'll be up there as probably like one of the best EZAs in the game. Like, he really will. So at least at that point, you know, in some of these other categories they both share, at least you could potentially run that as a rotation if you were to put Turles on main rotation. But then if you pull the new cooler, I mean, you probably won't be doing that. Also, there's the EZA final form cooler. But, you know, every time Turles comes around, as again, I said, as an ideal slot 3 unit, that's probably where you're going to be putting him. That's no disrespect to him, but so you can take advantage of his support. He'll be supporting Cooler. If he did get an EZA, he would link quite well with him. You know, you would have Brutal Beatdown, Thirst for Conquest, Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle. Those are some pretty decent attack links. The only one you're missing is Destroyer of the Universe. But then again, you'll have most of them active anyway. So missing out on like one attack link that's attack plus 25% would work out really well. But that just all depends if the Strength Final Form Cooler or the Strength Transforming Cooler does actually get his EZA during Worldwide, which, as I said, may not happen because there's a few units like LR Full Power Freezer, LR Strength Full Power Freezer to be specific. Meta Cooler, even though it's a different movie, kind of need EZAs before him. But as I said, when has that stopped Dokkan before? You kind of never know. But we'll have to see. But as I said, for the purpose of the video, to really show what he can do, we're going to have him on main rotation. But typically, he will be a slot 3 unit just because of his support and also his link set. As I said, it isn't the best set, but individual links there are, of course, really, really good. So we do have a Whis active, but we only have 175k defense. I mean, still, as I said, with Cooler, I mean, we don't have big bad bosses active, and that is kind of like a big link to be missing right now. But if we did have that, he would probably be around about the 200% mark when it came to defense. But we have a Whis active. We should be fine to get through this turn. There's only one attack before he supers. Yeah, there we go. 4k is not bad with an item. 4k is not bad with an item. And he's going to raise his attack and defense by 30% for this turn, so you're probably talking like 300k defense roundabouts. He managed to stun Goku. I didn't even notice. All right, how much are you going to take with a Whis active? How much are you going to take? 226k? That's not bad. Again, he had 170 something k defense at the start of the turn. He supered once. He's probably talking like almost 300k, maybe just 300k. Considering how hard ESPR hits nowadays, that's generally not too bad. This is what I mean. Like, as I said, he's going to be a slot 3, which means in some scenarios you may avoid taking that much damage, which even then, as you saw there, he can handle it. Especially because at all times he's not going to be taking any damage before he supers, because obviously that doesn't happen in slot 3. But on main rotation, where, as I said, typically you're not going to be running Turles, he's doing okay. And again, he's missing quite a few links. I mean, he's missing big bad bosses, which is the important one right now, but we can actually get that active right now, even though Vegeta's almost dead. But even though he's missing quite a few links, I say quite a few, it's literally, as I said, big bad bosses and destroy the universe. He is missing Saiyan Warrior Race, but that is only attack plus 5%. I mean, on a pure Saiyan's team, that's very easy to get active. But I mean, compared to Destroy of the Universe, which is attack plus 25%, First for Conquest, which is attack plus 15%, Brutal Beatdown, which is attack plus 10%, Big Bad Bosses, which of course attack and defense plus 25%. You know, you're missing quite a bit of a chunk. I actually cannot remember what your active does. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, no. It just doesn't really do too much right now, does it? We are actually going to get a Dokkan attack off. We are going to get a Dokkan attack off. Which, to be fair, isn't too bad, because it does mean we're going to heal, even though I kind of don't want that, because I want the Big Bad Bosses link active. But considering how much damage we can take because of Cooler, and in some scenarios, Turles before he supers, probably a good idea that we do actually get some health back. But he's still doing relatively well. It's just a shame that we don't have a 5 million attack stat on top of everything else Turles can do because of the links we are missing. You know, maybe in the future we will get, I was gonna say maybe we'll get another Turles unit, but would they even link together? As I said in his showcase, the only time we would get a Turles unit that links together is if we had a Turles that was just immediately like boosted, or just like after he ate the fruit from the Tree of Might. That way he would have a different name, so it's incredibly unlikely that's going to happen. I could do this. Actually, it's probably safe if I do this, and I'm going to use, I don't want to use the Whis, but I'm going to use the Whis just because there's a Trunks attacking in that final slot, and Cooler has type disadvantage. Right now, 251k defense, and he's going to super raise attack and defense by 30%. You're talking like 400k defense, or maybe a little bit over. And that's because we have the all-important Big Bad Bosses link active. So this is definitely a unit you want to get to level 10 links. Whenever people ask me on stream or like anytime, what unit should I get to level 10 links? A lot of the time, any link, any unit you want, pretty much, any link. Yeah, any unit you kind of want. But you definitely want to get some of the better extreme units who have Big Bad Bosses specifically. You definitely want to get them to level 10 links, just because getting that active without needing to lose health is so crucial. Like, it can help out a lot of extreme units. I mean, look at that there, 5.2 mil. Bearing in mind, we've lost hardly any health. Yes, obviously, like, literally, we literally lost about, like, what? We're going to lose a little bit more now. 22k with a Whis active. R3 supers, 22k with a Whis active. That's very, very good. You know, we barely lost any health, so it's not that difficult to get active, but having it active immediately is obviously a big, big help. And Turles is definitely a unit next I'm going to start link leveling. Yeah, we'll keep attacking you, because then Goten will die, and then we can start attacking, of course, Gohan automatically because he is the first unit where both Brolys have type advantage. But Turles is doing really, really well, considering, like, for the most part, in this run, we haven't had Big Bad Bosses active with Cooler. We don't have him fully linked up with all of those links active with the LR Turles squad, and also the extra support the Turles squad offers. So yes, the offense hasn't been anywhere near as good as it can be. You know, 3.3 mil, I mean, granted, isn't the best, but considering what Turles does as a whole, isn't too bad in the grand scheme of things. But he's still been doing pretty well. He's still been doing really, really well. It's just a shame there isn't a unit you could, like, get most of these links active with that's actually good. Like, very good. Again, the only time we would ever see this is if we get another DOKKANFEST TURLES, who is, like, immediately already eating the fruit of the tree of might, which we're probably not going to really get anytime soon. Or maybe like a Turles squad unit who exchanges into him, but then again, I doubt we'll probably get that. I mean, maybe sometime in the future, but definitely not soon. But he is still very, very good. And as I said, realistically, when you're going to be taking this guy, or if you took him into ESBR, which, of course, the main thing is he has defense and he's actually viable to go in harder content. So you can actually take advantage of his amazing support, which now offers defense as long as you're facing a superclass enemy, which, as I said before, really isn't difficult to get off because the majority of the game is superclass enemies. I'm going to use an Usher just because the LR Turles squad isn't really safe in that third slot, especially while they have type disadvantage. To be fair, this is actually a pretty good turn. All links active and the support. And I mean, if there were attacks being set off, which there was before I used the Usher, at least Frieza was here. But yeah, as I said, now that his EZA's come out, which, as I said, is already just ridiculously good as it is, the important thing now is he actually has defense and he's actually viable in harder content. I mean, you're literally seeing it right now, but he's usable in harder content. So not only can you utilize his amazing support, and even the extra defense plus 40% is easy because the majority of the game, as I already said, is primarily superclass enemies. Like, look at that, 3.2 mil crit, raise attack and defense again by 30%, up to 6 milli. His defense is in a very good spot for this turn. I kind of wish I didn't use the Usher. He would have tanked really, really well this turn, like really, really well. No, that's such a shame that I missed that. He hasn't stunned too much, I don't think, but of course, that's a great thing to have as well. I really wish I didn't use that. I wish I used like an Icarus instead, because then I could have seen how much he tanked for after supering twice. But defensively, he would have been good there. I mean, you're talking what, 400k defense on that rotation after supering once, so you're probably talking like, what, 600k defense, give or take, after supering a second time? Which is obviously ridiculously good, especially because I would have had an Icarus active and that would have been some, only a little bit, but it would have been some damage reduction. So yeah, defensively, Turles would have been unstoppable that turn. You would not be killing him. You'd be doing hardly any damage to him. But of course, realistically, as I was saying beforehand, you're going to be running him as a slot 3 unit, big additional from Cooler. I really hope he does get an EZA because all this guy really mainly needs is a little bit of extra attack to keep up nowadays, and obviously defense where he's not going to get you killed. And then Cooler's ridiculous. But, you know, I said it probably won't happen. It's not looking likely, but as I said, it's never stopped Dokkan before. Worldwide is a hype celebration. You kind of never know. But realistically, Turles is going to go in slot 3. You're going to be able to get that support off, the full support majority of the time, but even then, you're still getting key plus 3 and attack plus 40%. Units are performing better. Turles is doing pretty solid damage without his links. If you have him linked up with, as I said, like a Cooler, and you're getting off, more importantly, big bad bosses. And, you know, with Cooler first for Conquest, brutal beatdown, but mainly big bad bosses, he's putting out some solid offensive numbers. And defensively, once he supers, he's in a pretty good spot, especially if you do get an additional of. He is amazing now. And he done really, really well on main rotation, considering at some points every other turn, he wasn't really performing that well, and we didn't always have Cooler on main rotation. He done really, really well. Really, really well, honestly. EZA Turles, easily top 5 EZA in the game. One of my favorite EZAs already. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll see you next video, guys, and push.